Hello and welcome to another Java tutorial. This is the Best Mac Tutorials. This is my 6th Java tutorial now. We're at the end of my second week of this tutorial making and class taking. It kind of rhymes, I guess. Anyway, today I'll be showing you extremely basic GUI stuff. I'm going to be showing you pop-up boxes, not all of them, just two. One where it's just informational and one where it asks for user input. So, without further ado, I'm going to do this with methods. And please watch an HD full screen so you can see the text. You can also, of course, download the sample file text, which is boop in the description. But it is nice to be able to see it as I'm typing it and talking about it so that you can better understand what I'm doing. Unless, of course, you know it all, in which case I don't know why you're watching this video. But without further ado, we're going to make a new class. Let's say I'm just going to call it, let's just say display. So we're going to go static void, it's void because it's not returning anything, display. Then we're going to write our code inside. So, by the way, I have to import javax.swing.wildcard. The reason it is .swing, why are you importing .swing? It sounds like, someone got too drunk when they were naming this kind of stuff. And it's actually what is now Sun Microsystems. I know Sun Microsystems doesn't own Java anymore. At least Oracle is the main one controlling. I don't know if it's a license or what. But what is now Sun Microsystems, back a long time ago, when they were introducing their GUI features at some big thing, they had swing music playing in the background, and someone said, hey, well, what should we name this? You gotta have a catchy name. And Java's kind of famous for having funny, silly kind of names used for a lot of stuff, such as, the program name, the code name Java. So they decided to call it Swing. So that's the story behind that. I don't think it requires any further explaining. So anyway, that should be a lowercase s. Okay, so we'll write our code in here. So J option, you just have to memorize this. Dot show message dialog null. And then what goes in these double quotes here is what the body of it is. The body of the message is. So this program will take your name input and spit it back out. Ta-da! Outside of these quotes, we're going to put a comma, a space, then we're going to put another thing in quotes. I'm going to call it about this program. That is going to be the title for the pop-up window. So I'm going to add another comma there. I'm going to enter because this is just kind of the standard input. I'm going to enter. I'm going to type in J option pane dot all caps question underscore message. Then we're going to just end it properly. And now when we run that, it'll say this program will take your name input and spit it back out, and then close. Well, not really close, but it'll just stop there. Once you press OK, that's the end of it. So I'm going to make another method called, let's just say fetch name. So static, and then it's going to be, we're going to be returning a string, capital S, fetch name, and we're not going to pass it anything. And so we're going to first put a string of fetch name, and we're going to set it equal to an empty, not really an empty set, but an empty string, that's the word. And then we're going to put a integer. Well, no, actually, we'll do that later. That's parsing. I'll get into that later in this tutorial, certainly. It's very important. Because remember, and I'll repeat this again, probably at the time, unless I forget, everything that the user enters into a dialog box for our purposes is entered as a string. It's by default a string. If you want to do anything with it, like say add 5 and say your age in blah blah, in 5 years will be blah blah blah, their age plus 5, you have to convert it to an integer or a double or a float or a long or whatever, char, which is short for character, or a byte or a bool or whatever. Actually, it might be a bit. Oh well. Anyway, I'm not sure whether they use byte or bit. I know what those are, but I'm not sure. Oh well. Anyway, so we'll have an empty string. Then we'll say that that string, the data contained within that string is equal to j option pane dot show, not with a capital H, show input dialog, and then we're just going to put in here, please enter your name. So we could put a comma here and add a title, you know, name, enter, and then we're just going to go here, and we're going to put another comma. Then we're going to go down here, and we're going to, actually that's it. So we're just going to end that properly. Don't need that comma then. And then we're going to return. You know, actually it doesn't seem to like that. I don't think you can add those. Place like that. Show input dialog. Can't be a capital S. Let me try. I'm curious to see if this works. Let's see. So then we're going to return our fetched integer. So or not name it. It's not an integer. It's a string. So return fetch name. And then up here we'll define a string of name, and we'll set that equal to fetch name, and we're not going to feed it anything again. And so now the results from fetch name are now the contents of the string known as name to the program. I'm also going to put display like that, so it does whatever's contained within display. Now I'm going to make another method. Actually, no, I'm just going to do it right here. I'm going to go j option pane dot show message dialog null comma your name is space and then plus name. Ta-da! And then, so I'm just gonna do, let's see, would that work? Okay, so I'm just going to try that. Run that and see what happens. So it says this program will take your name input and spit it back out. So please enter your name. Okay, it seems as if name enter is what the default text entered into here is, whereas the title is by default input. Okay? So just so you know. So I would say, oh, Johnny Appleseed. And then it spits out your name is Johnny Appleseed. Your name is space and then plus name. So now I'm going to show you parsing. That's very important. So I'm going to make a new method to do this. I'm going to go static int fetch age, and then I'm going to make another string of fetched age equals, then an empty string, then fetched age equals j option pane dot show input dialog. Please enter your age, comma, enter age here. Like that. And then we're going to end it. Then here's the important part. We're going to parse. So we're going to say, I'm going to define well, let's see. I'll define right here. Well, let's see. I'll do it up here. Age int. So age is an integer. We're saying equal to 0. We don't really need to do that. I guess we could just leave it blank like that. Like that. So anyway, then I'm going to say that age int is equal to integer.parse int. And we're going to parse the string fetched age. And hopefully the user entered an integer for that. So I'm going to say, I gotta define that as an integer. So I'm going to then return age int So I'm going to return my integer of an age. Then I'm going to set an integer up here, set to integer, let's just say age like that. Then it'll say age equals fetch age. So we call on the fetch age method here. Then we're going to why does it not? Oh, capital I. Okay, so now we're going to print that out. So not really print out, but we're gonna, I say print out, we're gonna put it out to a dialog box. That's the word. So J option pane dot show message dialog null, and then your age in 5 years is plus, and then we're going to do age plus 5. Let's just say like that. So let's run it and see what happens. Doesn't say that I have any errors, so it does an introduction with the proper title. Please enter your name, Johnny Appleseed. Your name is Johnny Appleseed, I know. Please enter your age, and then see how I did that enter age here? That's the text that goes by default into that box, right there, that text. So anyway, not just the part that I highlighted, the whole thing within the quotes. So I'm going to enter, say, that. That is, I don't know how many 9s, I'm too lazy to count them. I'm going to press OK. Then your age in 5 years, and see it did the math for us perfectly. It did the math perfectly because we parsed it into an integer. If we had tried to add that to the string, added 5 to the string, it wouldn't have worked. It would have said your age in 5 years is 9999 space plus space 5. It would concat them, which we don't want. We don't want them to be concatenated or concacted or whatever. We want them to be combined mathematically. So that is basically it for today. I showed you how to I did another review over methods here. I showed you what to import and explained it a little bit for how to do some basic GUI, genuine user interface things. I showed you how to do a pop-up box with just like a message inside it, and then another pop-up box that requires the user to enter something into it. I showed you how to parse the string, how to get a string out of that input and then parse it into something that the system can use, and then how to return it to the main so that the main can do something with it, such as printing it out or whatever, or putting it into a pop-up for your Java program. So that is it for now. I will that card game I had, the card game I made, I have rewritten that using the user interface tools and bells and whistles and such. And so I will be making a week 2 wrap-up video by showing you guys that. It basically combines everything we've learned from Java tutorial 4, 5, and today 6, which is, just like, I forgot what 4 was already, but 5 was, it might not actually include all of 4, but it includes a good, all the method kind of things and all that. And so I will be showing you that. I'll probably do that video tomorrow. And I might also rewrite that restaurant program I made using a GUI, a very simple one. I might also show that to you guys if I have time. So that is about it for today. Thank you for watching. Please like this video or subscribe if it helps you and you like these tutorials and you find them helpful. And have a nice day. Hello and welcome to another Java tutorial. This is the Best Mac Tutorials. Please watch an HD full screen to be able to see the text on the screen better. And what I'm going to show you today is a basic introduction to arrays. As you can see on the screen right now, I have a picture that is essentially showing kind of a really extremely basic view of arrays. And so you'll see that all the stuff in light blue, that's aside from the text that says A equals array's name, and then the A in the text says subscripted number equals blah blah blah. But the A's that are in that kind of light baby blue kind of color, that is your array name. So in this case, our array is labeled A, and I know up there the code is integer array, and so actually that text should be array, but I'm just giving you a sample code up there and then simplifying it down here with the A's. So actually where it says integer array and then left bracket, right bracket, really to be true to what we are, the array is shown below, and they're actually unrelated. But if we were to tie those to the array down, if we were to tie that code on the top to the array that we have shown here, then that the word array would be replaced by just the letter A because the array's name is A. In the code, the array's name is array. So then it equals a new integer. So the array is going to be of integers, and then the thing in brackets that's smushed together with int, meaning integers, is how many kind of placeholders the program will create for that string of numbers. And so this is kind of the way a string works. You have down here where it says, well, up here I guess, where it says A, and then it should be a subscript 0. Technically that's how it would be. It's not subscripted there though. But A with a subscript number of 0 would be the very first place in the array. Now if we made it of 9, you'd expect it to go up to 9, but it only goes up to 8. But count, since we start at 0 instead of 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 places. It stops at 8 because it starts at 0. So I could say I can load these with information as shown in these boxes. So if I call on, well, not really call on, but if I say print A of 0, the contents of A of 0, then what would I get? I get 196. And you see I could have decimals in here, but that would be going against the integer. If this was a string of, or not a string, an array of doubles, if this was an array of things like, say, for example, doubles, I could certainly have decimals in there, or much bigger numbers, like huge numbers, that I talked about in data types, my video on data types. So I'm just going to start here. I'm going to clear this. That was something I was working on. Okay, so I'm just going to write the code from the top. So I'm going to turn on my computer screen recording. I record with QuickTime Player X. It's actually really nice for recording. So here we are. I'm just going to write in my code right now. Public class Java tutorial 7. This better be tutorial 7. And we're going to write our little public static void main string args. And notice string and this is an array. It's expecting an array of stuff, essentially, I guess. So inside that, we're going to make an integer called, say, this will count. And we're going to set it equal to 0, because we're going to be adding to it. By the way, if you create an empty array, every single 0 in there is set to 0, whereas in C++, apparently it's like some random, not random, but it's some really highly negative number, like a very small number that is negative, which, you know, 999 is a big positive number and is a small negative number, if you get my drift, because it's small. But anyway, so we have an integer called this will count, and an integer called sum of array, and we're also going to set that equal to 0. And we're going to have an integer array. We're not going to make it a double or anything. It's just going to be, I'm going to call it just array, I guess. So I'm going to call it array. I'm going to set it blank right here like that. And I'm going to give it, I'm going to say 1,000 places. So that'll be 0 to 999, the places' names. If I did 1001, it'll be 0 to 1000, if that makes sense. Not too confusing. End that properly. So then I have my for statement, and by the way, I'm going to introduce for statements here too. They're really simple. They're kind of just like while statements. It's for, and then it kind of runs the very basic code that you have in here. So it says, is j equal to 0? Yes. Is j smaller than array.length, which is just the length of the array. And actually, I really shouldn't have called this array. Well, it makes sense to call it array, but this right here, if I change the name of this changes, because it's whatever your array is called, the name of array dot length is getting the length of that array, how many items are in that array. So we don't want J to go over array dot length for this, and you'll see why in just a minute. And we're going to then put a semicolon, then do I plus, or actually I use J here, so J plus plus. And so now it what it is doing here is it's saying, oh, gotta define that as an integer. So we have an integer J, and it's saying it is now equal to 0.